Hey guys, what's up? So it has been a while since I posted a video, mainly because not a lot of sailing's been happening. Personally, what's changed is I'm now a day skipper. I completed the course, I think it was just after Christmas, I think it was. I only had to do 2 days. It's normally a 5-day course, but because I've done a lot of own boat tuition, I've done loads of the syllabus already with the guy that I used to do the course. So it was a day of theory and then a day of passage and pilotage to Poole, all the way into Poole Marina. Very tricky actually. It's you know, you got your ferries, you've got a lot of buoyage. So that was good. It was a good confidence boost for me. Now, as for the boat itself, I have now got a water maker installed. Previous to that, so I took the boat out of the water just before Christmas to do the annual anti-fouling. And while she was out, I got a hole drilled through the boat, which I didn't want to do. I'm too scared to be doing any holes below the water line. So I got a skin fitting, a new seacock fitted that feeds the water maker. I'll go on to that a little bit more in a bit. The big news is, the very big news, I've sold the house. I've pretty much sold everything. Motorbike's gone, van will be going, and I will be moving on to the boat, maybe in about 2 weeks' time. It all depends when it completes, but yeah, that's enough about that. So again, onto the boat. Let's go and have a look at what I've done with the water maker. So let's take a look at this water maker. Okay, so here we go. Now the reason I didn't video installing this is because I didn't do it over the space of sort of 1 or 2 days. It was in bits and pieces, and I'm no expert. I totally made this up as I went along. So what I didn't want to do is start installing things and then it being wrong and then having to redo the video. So I just decided I'll fit it and then have a walkthrough for any of you that are interested. So this is a Zen 30 by Schenker, and I'll show the actual unit itself. So what Zen 30 means is that it makes 30 litres per hour. So I shall start from the beginning and work my way through to the water maker. Now there's some tee-offs in a couple of places, but I'll come back to them. All I'll do is the actual route of the salt water into the system to make the fresh. So this is the seacock that I got fitted when she was out. So what you can see is, obviously it's closed at the moment, it comes through, it loops and then goes into that strainer. From the strainer, the hose then goes up into the back, and I'll have to spin this around so that you can see we've got this non-return valve. As I say, it splits off, but I'm just going to go through the actual water maker process to start with. So it goes through into the next compartment, comes down to an L-port valve. Again, I'll come back to this, and it goes into this pump. So this is the pump, this is the one that primes it. You've got your electric box on the side of this one. What I had to do as well, because this can generate a bit of heat, I installed a vent on the side. The fan is positioned at the front just to try and get some air circulating. So from the pump, it then goes up into the first stage filter, and it's got an accumulator. Then from the accumulator, it drops down, goes around and into the actual machine itself. I won't go into the workings of the machine. What I'll do is, the first time that I actually make water, again, I've already tested it once, I will show you the operation and how it works. Okay, so when it's taken the salt out of the water, the brine comes out the top here, and again we've got another L port, I'll come back to that, drops down, and then what I've done is I've plumbed it into the kitchen outlet, the kitchen sink outlet. The only issue I've found is sometimes, or most of the time, the brine does want to come out the top of the sink, out the plug holes. So all I'm going to be doing is putting plugs in whilst I'm making water. Okay, going back to the actual fresh water itself. So it comes out of the side of this machine there, and then you can see I've got another valve. Quarter turn. What happens is you send, before you start putting the water into your tank, you want to test it. So it goes off this setting here when the valve's over to This one, it goes around, it goes under my bunk and to the forward toilet, where I have installed a tap, and the fresh water will come out of that tap first, so you can sample it, test it, drink it, make sure it's okay. When you're happy, you come back, you flip that quarter turn, and then it then goes into the tank itself. Right, so let's take a look at that first tee off from the non-return valve. So when you've made water, you need to flush it, and you flush it with your fresh water system. So as you can see here, I've had to tee into the fresh. This was a nightmare. I had an absolute nightmare because this blue hose was one big loop going onto that blue hose. So it was a different size diameter to the hose that's provided with the water maker. So I had to get different fit-ins, and yeah, it was a nightmare. So now when you go to flush, you use your fresh water that's on the system. It comes through that quarter turn, through this electro valve, through this filter, a carbon filter, and then pushes the fresh through the system and flushes that system out. Now these L ports that I showed you earlier, that's the first one, that's the second. This is for a cleaning loop. So coming off here, you just got an open hose, one off there and one off there. And what you do is you put a solution, it's actually in here somewhere. So it's the bottle, one of these bottles, and the solution is like an acid type affair. And yes, so you put both ends of the hose in, you've created a loop, you flush it, and it's what you call pickling the system. So if I'm not going to use it, which I'm not using it for some time, then you put this solution in there and it pickles the system. And yeah, so that's basically the water maker. So the plan is that I will now be able to stay at anchor a lot more without having to go into marinas for water. I can use my dinghy just to get into ports to get food. Okay, let's put this back together. So there we have it, the installation, quick run through of the installation of the water maker. As I said, I'm no expert. You know, I sort of made it up as I went along. When I finally come to test it, I went out to the bay. It was a flat, calm day, a beautiful day. A friend of mine, we took the boat out, anchored up in the bay, started the machine, and sprung leaks from most connections. Turned out the Jubilee clips, the hose clips that I use were not so good. I had better ones. I took some with me, replaced a lot of them, and then that sorted the problem. So, you know, just a note, anyone who is installing, just your normal hose clips from, like, you know, your local hardware store, not always the good ones. Go for your Jubilee, or the ones I got are JCS's, I believe they were. Good quality. They're expensive, but you get what you pay for. So that was a lesson learned for me. It is a shame that I didn't do a video to show, but as I say, I was backwards and forwards offshore at the time, so it was a bitty kind of job. However, like I say, when I do run the water maker up for the first time, I will show you how it works and you know, the way it works. So yeah, that was that. Big things coming, big things. Moving on to the boat's going to be a massive step for me, you know, to go from a nice 3-bed house to a tiny boat. I'm sure I cope, but I always manage to adjust to whatever's thrown at me. It's going to be getting very interesting. I'm hoping in a couple of months, maybe 3 months, I'm actually going to be setting off. A couple more lessons to have. I'm still not 100% confident on a few things about sailing, but you pick it up as you go along, I hope. We'll see. So that's that. If you've got any comments, if you've got any questions about the installation of this, I'll see if I can help. Again, like I say, I'm not an expert, but it works, so I must have done something right. I did have to have help with the electrics. I'm not good at electrics. I don't like electrics, so I got someone in to help, but I watched what he was doing so I can learn bits. But again, drop a comment if there's anything that you'd like to mention about it. If there's something I could have done better, always happy to learn. Love constructive criticism. If you like the video, give me a like, and as things will be getting hotter soon with these videos, I suggest subscribing, hitting the notification button so you'll know when a video comes out, because as I say, you know, it's not going to be too long. I'm going to be moving on the boat and then the real adventure starts. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry it's been a while since I've done a video, but yeah, I just thought I'd get a little bit more content for you. Catch you soon.